rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We did start the meeting at 6:40. We had an interview and appointed the interviewee, Skip Castro, to the open position for Harbor Commission Advisory Committee. And we are starting our normal meeting now. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the first item of business is the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the council meeting minutes from October 12th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is public hearing. It's Matthew Maderas for Basil and Bunny at 500 Wood Street, Unit 214. This is a request for one additional Class BV limited license, liquor license, and it's also to see C1 and D1. And I believe we have Leslie here today.
Okay. So I'm going to open the public hearing. As the clerk rightly pointed out, this is a public hearing for an additional BV license. And just for clarity, this applicant currently has a limited BV license. So this would,
No license. She's requesting.
No clarity
limited.
necessary. We'll just move forward with this open public hearing. My apologies. So is there anyone here to speak in favor? There's a lot of people here. If you could move them out of the way.
No.
Thank you. If you could state your full name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Leslie Maderos. It's 3 Oak Street, Warren, Rhode Island.
Tell us, you are in favor. Tell us why.
Yeah, so I own Basil and Bunny, and we would love to have people stay around a little bit longer for dinners and lunches. We are part of the new Unity Park here in Bristol, and everyone around us has alcohol. So we would love to serve some beer and wine to our guests and have them enjoy the atmosphere.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? There's nobody else here. Is there anyone else to speak in favor? Is there anyone else to speak in favor? Is there anyone else to speak in favor? Is there anyone to speak against? We're going through our policy, right? Is there anyone to speak against? Is there anyone to speak against?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to close public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, the next item on the agenda is C1. This is ordinance 2022-13, Chapter 17 to Article 2 of alcohol beverage establishments. And this is for the increase of the number of Class B limited license from 6 to 7, second reading.
Motion to approve the second reading.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is C2. This is ordinance 2022-14. This is an ordinance and amendment to the Chapter 22 for sewers and sewer disposal. And this is for various
Archie, ask her to
amendments.
wait for just a moment, please. Go ahead, Madam Clerk. I'm sorry.
Sure. And this is various amendments to the sewer use ordinance required by the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management. This is first reading.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is C3. This is ordinance 2022-15, Chapter 17 to Article 2 of the alcoholic beverage establishments. And this is to increase the number of Class BV liquor licenses from 32 to 33. First reading.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next item is C4. This is ordinance 2022-16 to Chapter 17, Article 2 of the alcoholic beverage establishments. And this is to decrease the number of Class B limited licenses from 7 to 6. First reading.
Motion to approve first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve first reading. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is C5. This is ordinance 2022-17, Chapter 16 to motor vehicles and traffic. And this is to add a 6-foot no parking on Siegel Street, first reading.
So
Motion.
move.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Tim to approve first reading. Any discussion? I'll take just a quick moment and say you've heard us go through just a couple cheapers, 4 ordinances with no discussion. That is normal boilerplate for us because they're first readings. Second readings is typically where we'll have questions. And if there's any questions, we'll express them at that point. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is D1. This is Matthew Maderas for Basil and Bunny, 500 Wood Street, Unit 214. This is the request for the BV Limited liquor license.
Based on the positive recommendations, make a motion to approve with a 6-month review.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve with those recommendations. Any discussion? It's an opportunity for a 30-second commercial if you'd like it, because we heard just a little bit. You want to tell us anything more about Basil and Bunny?
So we started off as,
You already stated your name and address for the record, so go ahead.
yeah, we started out as a food truck about 3 years ago out of Hope in Maine. And we've grown and we've been able to open up a really beautiful place here in Bristol. We love it here on the East Bay. A lot of our core customers during COVID were from the East Bay, so it felt comfortable and normal for us to call this place our home. So we do 100% plant-based food. We make about 90% of it all from scratch. We use a lot of local organic makers as well. Yeah.
That was a great commercial. Nice job.
Yeah.
And the reason for the chair to call you back is precisely for that. 1, you have an opportunity for a commercial.
Yeah.
2, for you to hear that actually your license will get approved.
Or at
Thank
least
you.
it
Well,
seems
I
that way.
think. you
Ah,
will.
yeah.
Seems
Oh,
like-
Tony, you let the cat out of the bag. Whoa, Tony.
Yes.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys listening. Thank you.
I'm a big fan of Hope in Maine, and like I remember your truck being there many
Mhm.
times. And
Yeah.
wish you the best of luck. I mean, it's really beautiful, and your food looks picture perfect.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I really appreciate it. I see a lot of familiar faces that have come and visit us, and it means a lot. So thank you
Yeah,
for supporting us.
I've dined twice
I know,
there.
I
I
said
know. I'm coming
twice.
back and back, but I love it. I mean, the whole experience is great. You guys have really nailed the restaurant as far as the ambiance goes
you.
and the way the decor is, and then on top of it, the food is phenomenal. It's
Thank
great.
you so much.
Yeah.
Try to put a lot of love and thought into everything. So appreciate
It'd be
hearing your
strange for us
positive
to
feedback.
deny you now, wouldn't
I
it?
know.
I know.
How many of us have eaten there?
So we had a motion and a
Thank you.
second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I
Congratulations.
really
Congratulations.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, the next item on the agenda is D2. This is Michelle Martins for the Bristol 4th of July Committee. This is a request for one-day dancing and entertainment license for the Jingle Mingle to be held on December 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m.
I make a motion, we approve it, considering all the regulations.
Second. Sorry, Mary.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary to approve with all the positive recommendations. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is D3. This is Carolyn Almonte of the Our Lady of Mount Carmel School at 127 State Street. This is a request for a bingo license for Friday, November 4th, 2022.
We approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mary, seconded by Tony to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the council, the next item on the agenda is F1. This is Michelle Martins for the Bristol 4th of July Committee. This is a request for the use of the Maritime Center to hold a jingle mingle and permission to use and sell alcohol beverages on December 2nd from 6 to 9.
Based on the recommendations, I make a motion that we approve it and also consider all the regulations.
Second.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is F2. This is Ann Todd Merriman of 218 State Street. This is the request for removal of accessible parking space at 211 State Street. This is first reading.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony to approve first reading. Any other discussion?
It's just always nice to hear that if
Agreed.
a spot is not in use, the folks step forward and
Exactly.
notify us,
Yeah.
and open up that spot. So it's appreciated that they have done that.
Well put.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is G1. This is the Mount Hope Farm Trust. This is one term set to expire December 2024. We have interest in appointment from a Teresa Rigsby Doherty of 4 Linden Street.
So typically we would set, and I'm assuming this council wants to set up an interview. Maybe we can just set the interview at our next regularly scheduled council meeting.
16th.
Is that, I don't know when our next regular.
is.
16.
It is.
2
the
weeks,
six-
isn't it?
I'm
2
having a
weeks.
tough Wednesday
I
night. I think so. Jeepers. 16th, everybody okay?
November
with-
16th, yeah. Yeah,
If,
like
6:40
6:30?
work again? I
Mhm.
promise I'll be here at 6:45. Does that work?
You
Mhm.
promise that?
I promise. So, great. So could we have a motion to that effect?
Motion to have Madam Clerk set up an interview for November, the next council meeting, which is November 16th at, what did we say, 6:30, 6:40? Great, thank you.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Aaron. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is G2. This is the Northeast Burial Grounds Commission. This is one term set to expire January 2024. We had Scott Pinella with a letter of resignation, and we have Kathleen Moran of 87 Hopeworth Avenue with interest in being a full-term member. And there's a letter of recommendation from the chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the letter of resignation with a thank you. And also promote or move up Kathleen from an auxiliary to a full-time.
Second.
Motion made by Tony to accept the resignation along with a letter of thanks and to move up Kathleen Moran to a full position, seconded by Mary. Any discussion?
Do we need to advertise for an opening?
We can advertise for the auxiliary position
Tony, if you're okay.
if you
Yes.
would like.
Yeah, and yes, let's include that as in advertise for the opening position
Mary,
or
second.
vacancy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
so amended motion as stated. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is H1. This is Director Williamson with the review of the uses in the mixed Medicom use zone, and there is a recommendation from the planning board.
Diane?
Thank you. So if you recall, you referred this to the planning board for a recommendation to see if they felt there were any additional uses that could be added to the permitted uses for the Medicom mixed use zone. And really, you were looking to see if there were any more industrial type uses for that zone. They did review it. They deliberated at 2 meetings. And at their last meeting, they sent it to you with a recommendation that they could see 2 potential new uses, which are indicated in your memo, the brewery and the lumber or wood manufacturing. So that's their recommendation. And if you wanted to amend the zoning ordinance, we can take the next steps to do that.
So they amended it to include the microbreweries, the lumber, the wood products, furniture, fixtures and manufacturing, looks
Right,
like,
right.
correct?
The lumber
That's
and
great.
wood manufacturing is sort of one category with a
thing.
lot of different subsets of it. So those were the recommended uses that they thought they could see fit to add.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah.
The reason why we asked for that was to have less red tape. If a business wants to come in, it doesn't require additional steps, as happened, right, recently.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
we'll hopefully kind of get rid of some of that. So
Right.
if this council is amenable, I would imagine our next step is to refer to the solicitor to draft the changes to or amend it to the zoning
Right.
ordinance.
And then you'd have a first reading and there's 3 weeks of advertising required for that. So,
So moved.
public hearing, yes.
Second.
First reading, then the 3 weeks of advertising, then a public hearing.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to refer to the solicitor draft first reading.
Second.
so Tim made the motion, Mary seconded. Any discussion? Other discussion?
Well, I'll just say that we can always add things later too,
can.
if it need be, or if we find out that there's new technological developments or anything
Exactly.
like that. And
Yep.
so it's not written in stone what we're
Right.
doing here. It's a living
That's true.
document. so.
Exactly, exactly.
Any other discussion? I'll add that I thank the planning board for
Yeah.
taking the time to look into this. Obviously, we requested it, but they took it seriously, apparently over 2 meetings to discuss it. So this council appreciates it. Any other discussion?
I echo that as well.
Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Diane.
Mr. Chairman and members of the council, the next item on the agenda is I1, and we have Director Williamson again with the extension on the bicycle path connector from the RIDEM grant.
Diane, welcome back.
Thank you. So this is, as I state in the memo, the current grant will expire at the end of this year, and we asked for a 6-month extension. We do have the grant agreement back. So I'm asking if you could authorize the town administrator to sign that grant extension on behalf of the town.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so motion made by Mary, seconded by Tim to authorize the administrator to sign a 6-month extension request. Discussion.
Yes, so the 6-month request starts as of December 31st.
Yes, so it will go
Okay.
through June 30th.
Gotcha.
Yes, thank you.
Super. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I just wanted to ask the administrators, anything from the council that you need at this time as far as moving that project up a little bit on the DOT side? I can,
What are you talking about? We're talking about the bike path?
yeah, I heard that it was currently at year 2025. And I was hoping that we could do it sooner,
Oh,
but
that's the sidewalk
sidewalk,
reconstruction
yeah.
from Constitution to Lower Ferry Road.
correct.
So that's 2023 would be design. So there, we did send a letter. I sent the letter
Thank you.
to Director Alvidi. We got notice recently that we got $1 million earmark from Senator Reed for Hope Street. So we're trying to, the letter,
Excellent.
but I'm giving the Director of DOT an opportunity to respond, but we've asked to work with them in getting the sidewalk project on Hope Street moved ahead. It's in the Transportation Improvement Program.
Yeah.
And it's, if anyone goes online, they'll see it there. It's number 1299.
Okay. Great. Thank
But
you.
it's, the design is for 2023, so construction would be years out. But we're asking that it be pulled up in, so that way we can use the federal funds with DOT's planning and getting some of it done anyway.
Great. Thanks for
But
getting
we're
that
waiting-
letter out.
I'm waiting for the director to respond. I have communicated by email. I know he's received it. I'm just waiting for his team to respond.
Mhm. Well, thank you for getting the letter out, and it sounds like we'll wait. Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion?
Just very briefly, I'm experienced that on the other side of the bay. But the TA is right on target. It's, there's a project that I'm working on with RIDOT, and it's the same thing. The 30%, the 60%, the 90%, and then the RFP. So he's right on target with, so there is a time we want to speed things up sometimes, but the timing is their schedule, unfortunately. And they are moving along. They actually are speeding things up a bit. I've noticed that, so.
Thanks, Tony.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Oh, my goodness. We're at executive session,
We
aren't
are, we have back
Jeepers
to back, but then there is one more item after that. Do you want to push through to J1?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so J1 is Town Treasurer Hassel. This is a recommendation for the account reappropriation and carry forwards.
Hi, Sarah.
I have 2 carry forward requests, one for tree planting due to weather delays for $8,676. And then the second one is for the comprehensive plan update for $5,000 to be pushed forward to this year's budget.
Sarah, would you explain, we understand it, but could you explain to the public what you mean by a carry forward?
Yes, the money that wasn't used in this year's budget is going to be going to last year's budget is going to be used in this year's budget.
Thank you. Council?
I
We don't
make a
want-
motion, we approve it.
Second.
Yeah.
Motion made by Tony, seconded by Mary to approve. Any discussion?
I agree. I don't leave that money behind. So I'm glad you're carrying it over.
No money left behind. I like that. Outstanding. Any other discussion?
No, it's always an opportune time to catch up on things when you don't have the opportunity to have done it within the time that was, allowed it to, then let's carry it forward.
One more piece is the council, I speak for the whole council, saying that you're doing an outstanding job. Feedback from the administrator and others have been very, very positive. So it's worth it that we say it to you publicly and the public knows that you're doing a great job. So thank you. Any other discussion?
Just keep it up.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. It's not a record, but it's close.
There you go.
Okay. We request a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-585. Acquisition or lease of real property and remain there under the same subsection for sale of real property formerly known as Oliver School, 151 State Street.
Council?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Tim, seconded by Tony, as expressed by the solicitor. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. So for you at home, we are going to executive session. We will end the normal broadcast portion of the meeting. We will come back out here at the end of executive session to close it, but we say good night. Thank you.